Hey guys, what's going on? We got the 11.1 PTR changes here, and we're going over everything for Enhancement Shaman. Basically, I'm going to start with how the tier set actually works in combat, and then we'll go over some of the new abilities, as well as the visual changes and the builds that I think might be happening. So, and for everybody's point of view, or from my point of view, all these are for both PvE and PvP, so keep that in mind. Um, so I will mention which ones I think are going to be better for PvP and stuff like that. But anyways, so tier set. Um, so as you guys know, you get stacks, increases the damage of your generators, and then as you spend Maelstrom, you have a chance to remove it. When you generate a stack, you reduce the cooldown of Doom Winds, and when you take away, you reduce the cooldown per Maelstrom weapon spent. Now, this doesn't seem to be working as intended, it seems like, but it is kind of working in a way. So first off, we're going to get some stacks here. So you can see we got our winning streak. It is working. And then when we cast a Maelstrom, we have a chance to only remove, but it only removes one stack. Although it does have a weird interaction with apologies for any like visual lag. I don't know why the PTR is running like kind of crappy, but it does only remove some. Sometimes it removes one, sometimes it removes five. I don't know. It's I don't really understand it, but yeah, it does work. It does seem to have a weird interaction with the whole Stormbringer's Tempest, and then you get Arc Discharge type of thing. So when you recast, it seems to pull more stacks. But yeah, as for the full details on how it's supposed to work, I'm not 100% sure. But it seems like when you cast, you have a chance to remove one stack, and then apparently it's supposed to remove the cooldown based on how much Maelstrom you have spent. So I really don't know how this is going to work entirely on live, but so far it just seems to be removing one stack and then sometimes pulls off second, sometimes doesn't. I don't know. It's really weird. So I have a feeling it's not fully implemented yet based on the changes. But that's how it's supposed to work, in my opinion. And we'll see what happens in the future. But anyways, on to the first change, big spell change, which is going to be Primal Storm. Once I get out of combat here, Primal Storm was implemented as the new version of Primordial Wave. What that does is it's a big AoE effect that deals elemental strike damage is what I'm going to say. It's a 3-strike attack, which is really cool. So we're going to start off by dropping Totem, get our Doom Winds, and then we're going to attack here, get full stacks. We're going to Primordial Wave, which launches Primal Wave, and then we're going to Primal Storm, and it does look pretty good, I have to say. The only problem is one, it is a 3-strike attack, so it does 3 different instances of damage, and it hits hard. It hits one target from anywhere from like 800k to 1.6 million on each singular strike. So it does a lot of damage. Now, the only issue is, as you can see, is you come out here, it's a very small radius. It's about the size of Doom Winds. Now, to me, it seems a little odd, but at the same time, it makes sense. Primal Storm, I guess, goes around us, so I expected it to kind of go around the target maybe, but, I'm kind of okay with it. The only issue is going to be like positioning. There's no real indicator on its size, but it is a fairly close spell, so you have to be up close and personal. But the nice part is no matter what feral spirits you get, it will be buffed by them. So keep that in mind. But you can see I just used lightning bolt, nothing, get back, and big damage. Like you can just see it's doing enormous, enormous damage. Like that was hitting 5 targets, and it does do damage reduced beyond 5 targets. So each target hit for 1.4 and above. Like, and that's one of its instances. Like that does a lot of damage. So this ability is going to go crazy in AoE. Absolutely crazy. And for PvP, it's going to be a bit on the weird side. Now, This is going to be a massive burst if they don't nerf it, obviously. But for PvP, it's going to be very awkward, but a massive burst. Because you have to be in melee combat for it to work, and with the way Season 1 has been, our mobility sucks. So getting to range sucks. But if you're fighting like a melee cleave, for instance, like a Ret Warrior, this thing is just going to decimate some serious people. Like, honestly, I'm excited to get some testing in with it for PvP, but yeah, it's got me excited. But the nice part is Primordial Wave now just generates 5 stacks, and it actually does hit quite hard. Like you can see here, it on its own, it hits quite hard. It's 1.9 to 3.8, like that's crazy. So it is doing some damage, like some serious damage. So it's quite exciting to see. The other things are visual updates. So that's the main change, and then you have your deeply rooted elements. But we have some visual updates to Crash Lightning, which you may have saw while I was doing the first initial attacking of the dummies. So Crash Lightning original design was a quick sweep in the front, and then if it hit targets, it shot lightning. Well, now it's just frontal cone, and it actually looks really good. I really like it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really happy with that. And then we also have Lightning Bolt, which, if you remember, it was just a streak of lightning, and now it actually looks really good. It's still very, very fast, so it's very hard to see it, but I have to say I am quite impressed. I didn't think they could actually like really improve upon it at all because I really didn't see much. But like for just a filler button, like this actually looks really good. I'm not gonna lie. It's a shame they didn't update Chain Lightning to be something similar, but I have a feeling that is in the coming days, but that looks really good in my opinion. So other than that, Ghost Wolf did get an update, but I can't quite see it now. I do have mine uh whatever glyphed in enhance, but if we switch over to elemental, where I don't have it, you can't, I can't really see a difference. So they said they were updating it, maybe they did, but again, I don't really see it. I don't really see it. But anyways, let's get on to builds for enhancement for both Stormbringer and Totemic. So obviously Stormbringer not changing too much. We're going to keep Doom Winds, obviously because the tier sets around it. And then you can probably shift Sundering in and out for Fire Nova if you want, or Hailstorm, or whatever you want, really. Sunder's just a good button to have. One, it's an interrupt type of thing as well. So this could be looking something for it. Primordial Wave. So Primordial Wave is probably going to be more geared towards AoE and, cleaving in the sense. So it's hard to say. Um, but the reason why we're keeping it in just for now is there was a Blue Note post saying that Primordial Wave should apply Storm or Lightning Rod there. Unfortunately, as of right now, it does not. But it still hits very hard and it generates 5 Maelstrom. So it is still quite useful. But it should apply your conduit. If it does not, then we could just move it into Legacy of the Frostfish. But at the same time, Primordial Wave is just doing a massive amount of damage. It might just stay. It's very possible for it to just stay. As for PvP specifically, you could probably go with this build very similar in forms of cleave content and stuff like that when you're fighting double melee or a bunch of people with pets and stuff like that. This is very effective. The other version is going to be drop Lavalash, grab Ice Strike, and Hailstorm as per usual. Just remember, you don't need Swirling Maelstrom. The only time you really take Swirling Maelstrom now is if you're going to have Fire Nova, in my opinion, because it's kind of pointless to grab it with Hailstorm as it only generates one Maelstrom weapon. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of it for Stormbringer. Not much changing, in my opinion. Not much changing. But yeah, it's hard to say whether it's going to be more powerful or not with the way Thorm's Invocation is going to interact with the tier set. It'll just be ripping Doom Winds off cooldown, which is, in my opinion, a good thing because Doom Winds is going to go kind of crazy. It's also going to depend in PvP whether the tier set is nerfed or not for the cooldown reduction, which it might possibly be. But anyways, let's get on to the next, which is Totemic. Totemic has seen the most changes. We're no longer taking Ascendants. I know, kind of crazy. Oversurge got absolutely gutted. It was 150%. Now it's all the way down to 50%. So amplification core is just going to be so much better. There is a possibility that Totemic coordination might take over Earth Surge, but I have a hard time feeling that because Earth Surge is now applied through reactivity. So every time reactivity goes off, it's going to trigger your Earth Surge at 50% effectiveness. So it's still going to be doing a whole lot of damage. But this is the build we're going to be looking at for Totemic. And I know we don't have Crash Lightning. We don't have anything like that. So we're not really going to be using Crashing Storms or anything. So it does kind of seem weird. But I wanted to incorporate Doomwinds into the build because Doomwinds is part of the tier set. So to me, it feels like it should definitely be in there. So whether we take 4 set or not is going to depend on Blizzard and how much they want the power behind Doomwinds is going to be. But anyways, this is kind of what I'm looking at for the build. And this is going to go for both PvP and PvE. Very, very similar. No more Ice Strike because you just don't have enough talent points to put into it, to be honest. You could go with Tempest Strikes over Elemental Blast. Really depends. But anyways, for damage output. So a lot of people are worried that our damage output is completely changed. It hasn't quite changed, but you can definitely notice the difference, but it could just be because of the different build. But anyways, you'll see here that it hasn't quite changed. Like we just do a massive amount of lava lashing now and sundering, and that's about it. Also with the change to the Maelstrom glow effects, you're going to have to pay a bit more attention to what's ready and what's not your Maelstrom. I'm still not used to it because I just want it to glow again. I'm very depressed that it doesn't glow anymore, so it's kind of annoying in my opinion, but that's the way Blizzard wanted it to be, so it is what it is. But as you can see, it really does flow quite well. Most of the damage is going to be from Lava Lash and your generators. So you're just going to notice that a whole lot is that you're just smashing, absolutely smashing Lava Lash. And that's about all you want to do. And if you don't generate, but that's about it. That's how Totemic's going to play now. And you can see by the damage output, Surging Totem is still way up there, but you can see Lava Lash, Sundering, and also Primordial Wave. And if all these were linked up together, they'd probably be quite up here as well. But yeah, that's kind of how the damage output for Totemic is going to look. Is it's still going to be more or less focused on your totem, but everything else is definitely going to follow closely behind. As for Stormbringer, its damage output really hasn't changed all that much, but the exact same thing. Everything else is kind of pushed up, while your generators have kind of not seen much of a difference, or your spenders haven't seen anything. So we're still very, very similar in the way you're going to be playing. But keep in mind, as you do want to be spending as much as you can, because you're going to be running, you're most likely going to be running your rooted elements, which is going to trigger ascendants and stuff like that whenever you use your spenders, so keep that in mind. But again, your Doomwinds isn't working properly right now, so it's hard to say what exactly everything's going to look like. But again, we also don't have the old Primordial Wave, so you'll definitely notice a bit of a difference to AoE, where Lightning Bolt is no longer going to be the whole God tier thing, where it's just going to surpass everything by a mile. So you can see I got an Ascendance, and we want to smash, and you can just see Ascendants last quite a while. So it's quite nice to see that again. But you can just see the numbers going up and up and up. And although these are level 70, so keep in mind on that, the actual numbers, I believe, are very accurate, but it's hard to say. I'm not sure. But I don't know. But anyways, it is looking good. everything is looking fine for the most part. But you can see lightning rod's up there. Lightning bolt is no longer there in AoE because we don't have the whole primordial wave lightning bolt thing. But yeah, you can see everything else has kind of brought itself up. Crash Lightning is doing a tremendous amount of damage, and then, Chain Lightning and Tempest are going to be doing a majority, and then Lightning Rod should follow up pretty closely. But yeah, you can see the damage profile has definitely changed, and I think it's for the better. Keep in mind these are level 70 training dummies. In Dornegal, there's so many people, and it was getting very laggy. I decided to go somewhere else, and it's still a relative number to what it should be. But anyways, yeah. So that's how everything's looking. Obviously, nothing is set in stone yet, so keep that in mind. But things are bound to change, and we will see how that goes from there. But anyways, guys, that is it. Let me know your thoughts. Again, things are still changing. Not everything is implemented properly either. So yeah. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Laters!